Hello, this is Bob Carson of Carson's Corner Radio Show, and you are listening to the Missing and Abducted Radio Show, which raises awareness to missing persons, parental and stranger abductions, human trafficking cases, and giving left-behind parents of parental and stranger abductions and human trafficking the opportunity to explain their stories to the general public and their journey to find their abducted children.
Blog Talk Radio.
And you are listening to a very special edition of Carson's Corner in conjunction with Speak Your Mind Radio. My name is Bob Carson, and the description you just heard accurately reflects what we're going to have on the show here tonight, a very, very special, very important edition of Carson's Corner. And we're going to bring on this evening's co-host right now, the host of Speak Your Mind Radio, Mr. David Levitt. David, how are you?
I'm doing good. Okay, well, first thing I want to get out there is the most important thing in this case, and is about the reward that is out there. There is currently a $15,000 reward for leading to the arrest and conviction of who did this to Tabitha, and you can call anonymously. So if you're afraid, you're in fear that something will happen to you, you can call anonymously, and that number is 205-254-7777. And also, I want to be touching a little bit basis on tonight. And when Stacy comes in, we'll talk a little bit about that. But there is a website that's on Facebook to help families of the missing with resources, and it's called Tabby's Tears. And I will post that in the chat for people to actually check out and go to like that Facebook page. And she will also, when she comes on, she'll be talking about that. So if we can, now I'm going to go over with the facts, but the facts are in this timeline that I created for Tabitha Franklin. So if you can go ahead and play that, Bob, and then we'll bring in Stacy.
Okay, no problem. We're going to play you a timeline of the Tabitha Franklin case right now, and this should familiarize everybody out there with the facts of this case. So here it is.
Tabitha Lynn Franklin is a 29-year-old mother of three who has been missing since August 13th, 2009. She was last seen wearing a black dress, waiting for a ride. The family later found out that Tabby's abusive ex-boyfriend said he picked her up from the area she was in and drove her to his place of business in Birmingham, Alabama, where he dropped her off. A few weeks later, after she went missing, police questioned him, and then he retained a lawyer when they wanted to further question him further, and then he moved to Illinois. Then he changed his name to Chris Poore Merrell. That's Merrell, and Poore was spelled with Poore. And Stacy Darden is a sister-in-law of Tabitha Lynn Franklin. She has known her for over 10 years and has been married to Tabby's younger brother for 6 years. Tabitha has 3 children who are now 14, 12, and 10. And the mother, Robin, knows Chris did something with Tabitha, her daughter, because she was on the phone with her the night she went missing. Tabby told her everything that was going on and that she knew Chris was going to kill her and that she wanted to protect her children because he threatened to get her kids if she didn't get in his car with him. And the Cullman Sheriff's Department is the ones that are investigating this case, and still to this day, he's only been questioned that once. And this recording of him admitting to having Tabby's things, the police told her to keep it from the public. Well, she's not keeping it from the public.
Hey, is Chris there? Hey, Chris, this is Shelly from Florida.
Who?
Shelly from Florida.
Oh, Florida.
Yeah, Tabby's cousin.
Okay. How are you?
I'm okay. I was just wondering, Doc had said something that you had some clothes of hers still. You know, she's been missing for nearly 3 months.
Who told you that?
Doc. And so I was just wondering if I could get those clothes back from you. For sentimental reasons, you know.
I understand. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, great. I'm going to be up in Birmingham probably in a week. Can I reach you at this number and then you meet?
I'm going to give them to a neutral party. No job.
Oh, okay, that's great.
Something just totally crazy. I don't know why everyone automatically assumes things, except that they do.
What are you talking about?
I was talking about your Tabitha. Everyone assuming that had something to do with this fact she disappeared or something.
They say you had something to do with it?
That's you know, that's the way, that's the impression of it.
Oh, okay, well, that's not what I've heard. They just said that she's been missing and that she's on drugs real bad. So,
What's your name?
Shirley, I'm from Florida.
Okay, why did you withhold your phone number?
Because my phone was blocked automatically. And yeah, I call.
Next time you call me, don't withhold your phone number.
Okay, that's fine. Would you like my number?
No, that's fine.
I can give it to you and you can call me back or something if you want.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get to a pen. Are you her cousin, you said?
Yes. On her Aunt Kathy's side.
Sorry?
On her Aunt Kathy's side. But yeah, so you're going to give it to her close to a neutral party so we can get them?
Yeah.
It's just basically for sentimental, reasons.
A lot of her pictures, too, so I mean...
Oh, really? You got some? Oh, great. That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to keep a couple of myself. I mean, but, I didn't know what to do, man. Everyone just was stepping on. Just call them back another time. I don't have access to a pen here.
Okay, honey, I will.
All right.
All right, and thank you for talking with me today. And just if you can, get those close to a neutral party or whatever. That way we'll have a little bit of something to, for the children and all that,
I agree.
So, but I do appreciate you talking to me, and I'll call you back and give you my number, and you can call me.
All right.
All right, thanks. Bye.
There you go. And he never did return the call, or the clothes in the pictures. There was some clothes that was found a year later in the lake. So now we're going to go ahead and go into the interview with the sister-in-law of Tabby Lynn Franklin.
That's right. We're back live here on Carson's Corner. David, that's a fascinating update there. Fascinating chain of events there.
Yes, it was. And Stacy can tell you more.
Now, should we play a news clip of the investigation here?
Well, that was edited because that was something that it was her kids and how they are feeling.
Well, the holidays are a time to spend with loved ones, but for one Cullman County family, there will be an empty seat at the dinner table. The night team's Haley Westbrook as the story of a search for a missing woman and how the community is coming together this Christmas.
If I could make just one Christmas wish, I would wish I could see my mama.
Please, God, grant me this one wish.
It's not what most kids want, but for these three, it's all they want.
I miss her a lot, but I usually just hold all that sadness inside. People at school, they have, moms and everything.
And she's always there to call us every day, and she's always there for Christmas and birthdays, and she's not there anymore.
Tabitha Franklin was last seen August 13, 2009. The only trace of her was last year when her clothes were found in Smith Lake.
We will find Tabitha, or we will find out what happened to Tabitha, and we will search until I draw my last breath.
We have no grave to go to. We have nothing to
to remember her.
So this year, friends and family are holding a Christmas to remember. Saturday, December 15th at Smith Lake Park, 3 Christmas trees will stand. Under them, presents to Franklin's children for the 3 years she's been missing.
They want their mom. I don't know if Santa can do that, but, you know, maybe there's a Santa out there that can do that.
Please, God, grant me this one wish, if just for a minute. She is someone I really need and miss.
In Cullman, Haley Westbrook, ABC 3340.
If you have any information, contact the Cullman County Sheriff's Office.
We can talk more about that because she knows more because she was there.
Absolutely.
Is she on the other end?
Yep. Let's welcome her right to
let's...
the show right now. Stacy, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It's great
Stacy.
to have you on. You know, this is really a fascinating case, and I just kind of want to just give you the floor here to just reach out to the audience and just, you know, tell the audience exactly what's on your mind after hearing that timeline that David provided.
Okay. Basically, what's on my mind is that this has been the most nightmare of a journey I've ever taken in my life. Usually, if someone passes away, you have an opportunity to bury them, and you have a place to go and mourn for them. We don't have anything. We don't have any answers. We don't have anything left from Tabitha. Because of her lifestyle of going from here to there, none of her stuff can be returned or has been returned, so that we can divide it among the kids. So it's a roller coaster of a journey, especially when you get leads coming in, and then all of a sudden they're put to a halt, and then you get leads coming in, and then again they're put to a halt, and then you see on TV where remains were found, and at one point in time there were remains found really close to where he said he dropped her off at. They turned out not to be Tabitha's, but just having to sit there and you know, you want them to be her, but then again you don't want them to be her, so you have that confusion in your own mind, you know, that you want some sort of peace and closure, but then again, who wants to find out that has happened to their loved one, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nightmare, and it's a nightmare for any family of a missing person.
Yes, it is. Yes. Now, what kind of roadblocks or problems that you did have trying to get her reported missing, and of course getting the Chris's place of business searched?
Okay. Back when Tabitha was first reported missing, they told us immediately, they were like, well, go back home or, you know, whatever, and if she calls or if she comes back, let us know. They never said, call these databases, report your loved one missing. They never said, go make flyers, pass them out, see if anyone's seen her. They never gave us any indication on what to do for the missing person. You know, when a woman is battered and beaten, they'll give you information and resources to go to after that incident has happened. But when a person goes missing, the police don't hand you out booklets on what to do or who to call, counselors to help with the children, anything like that. I mean, would have been of some assistance. So we basically started doing things on our own. We started doing searches on our own. I started following Chris on my own. I started taping conversations with him, doing things to try to figure out on my own where Tabitha could be. I asked them to immediately search the property he took her to, because if that's supposed to be the last place she was at, I automatically assumed from watching too much television that that place would immediately be searched. Well, I was wrong. Jefferson County was saying, well, this is Cullman County's case. it's a missing person from their county. Cullman County was saying, well, this is a Jefferson County's case because this is the building he took her to. So I was going back and forth from each police station trying to get someone to go search that building. Meanwhile, we're hearing all kinds of reports that Chris is painting the shop. He is laying down concrete. He's doing this, doing that. And so it was just really hard. In November of 2009, he got evicted from that place of business, and I called the landlord, who was the owner of the shop there, and asked him, look, Chris said he brought my sister-in-law there and dropped her off. Would you mind if that building is searched? He said, no, ma'am, go ahead, have that done. So that's when I called Randy Frost, and I said, okay, I've got permission for y'all to go in and search. You know, can you go do that now? So they finally did that. Also, during the month of September of 2009, Chris got arrested for a DUI in Dora, Alabama. And I got wind of it, and I reported to Randy Frost that, he had been arrested for a DUI, and that car, the white Cadillac that he picked her up in, had been impounded. I asked him then, I was like, please go and have that car searched. You know, if there's any forensic evidence, it'll be there, and you guys can find it. It took him a week and a half to locate where Chris had been arrested and where the car was impounded. By that time, Chris had already went and got the car out of impound. So that was a no-go as well. And then back in January or February of 2010, Chris spent, I think, 140 days in Paris, Tennessee jail, Henry County jail up there in Tennessee. And I was like, okay, here's your chance. You know, he's incarcerated. He can't just call his lawyer and be like, I've got a lawyer now. He is incarcerated for another charge, for a theft charge. Please go and question him. So Randy Frost assured me. He was like, yes, ma'am, we'll go question him. And, as soon as Henry County gives me the go-ahead, we're going to go up there and question him. Well, I get a phone call back that says, well, Henry County released him, so we were unable to question him. So it's just been one thing after the other with law enforcement. You know, these things should have been done. I don't understand why they haven't been done. And, I don't know. I've read so many missing persons cases where they have such similar stories as far as law enforcement and the struggle it's been for their family as well. So
yes,
it's just ridiculous.
The next guest that's coming on too. Could you tell us about Tabby Tears?
I'm sorry,
and
tell you what?
Resources?
Oh, Tears. Okay, Tabby's Tears is a Facebook page, a like page that I created in order to help families of the missing. Now, I have been doing this for 4 years, where I've had people who were advocates for the missing supposedly try and help me with my missing sister-in-law, and then they have turned out to be some of the rudest people, some of them, that I've ever spoken to. So what I figured was it's going to take someone who's been through it, someone who knows the emotional turmoil, who knows the emotional roller coaster, and who knows what the families of the missing need to reach out to another family member of a missing person. So what I do with this page is I put up resources like NamUs and databases that you can get your loved one into. I put out information on flyers on how to make them and how to get free flyers made up for your loved one. Also, I put up self-defense videos for people in domestic violence situations. A lot of times when a person goes missing, sometimes it is going to be linked to some sort of domestic violence or drug indication or something of that nature. So I try to give them information, resources, education, that sort of thing in order to help other families.
Okay. through our conversations that we've had on Facebook and on the phone, and you've had some tips come in and some leads. Are you able to discuss those leads? Are you feel free to discuss some of those leads that you've had coming in and what problems you've had with these leads and leading to something that possibly could lead you to her?
Most of the leads that we have that have come in from the family of the person of interest, Chris himself. See, when he was introduced to us as Chris Poore. Not until Tabitha went missing did he start using the last name Chris Merrell. This man gave me every indication of circumstantial evidence of him being guilty. You know, cleaning up his car, changing his last name, refusing to give a further statement, getting a lawyer. There was no reason for me to think anything otherwise that this man had done something to my sister-in-law. There had been prior abuse. So the tips that we have been getting in a lot of times come from family members of his. And then they'll give us locations of places where he has boasted and bragged about, you know, what he's done to her and in places where she may be. So, and I've tried to have the police follow up on those leads. A lot of times the police will tell me that this is hearsay since it didn't come directly from someone that was there at the time. It is considered hearsay. They won't search the areas because it's too deep or it's not an exact enough area or location for them to search.
Now, do you think as far as if there's anything else, I mean, besides that could have possibly made Tabitha go missing, besides the abuse, is there something that she possibly knew that, you know, she might have been going to somebody about? And,
it's definitely possible. One of her friends had told me prior to, after she went missing, that prior to her going missing, Tabitha went over there and told her that she knew something about Chris and that it was going to end up ultimately causing her to lose her life. And the friend kind of persuaded Tabitha to talk more about it, and she was like, well, you know, is it something to do with the loss of another life? And Tabitha said yes. So I'm not sure, you know, I can't be positive on that. That's not something I heard myself. But this is something that was reported by one of her friends.
Still, they should be, you know, following out these things because it could always lead to something. Is there anything else that you would like to say? I mean,
I have some questions too, if I can fit in here. How would you describe Chris? You know, we kind of heard bits and pieces about his relationship with your sister-in-law. I know that the police only interviewed him once after this happened, and what type of person would you describe him as?
Okay, I had the unfortunate pleasure, I guess you could say, of meeting him one time. He was brought to my house by Tabitha, and immediately when I met him, I told my husband, there's something about that man I do not trust. I just felt a distinct vibe of violence or nastiness. I didn't know if he had raped someone or if he was, you know, if he hurt someone or what, but that was my immediate impression of him. The kind of person he was is, from what I've gathered from his family members and from people that did know him, is that he was a steroid user. He was very into his body and working out. He was also into methamphetamines and drugs of that nature. He was also into a car chopping business from things that I've heard. So, and he has an extensive criminal past. He spent 5 years in Gus Harrison Correctional Facility in Flint, Michigan for assault with an attempt to rob. So this is a man with a long criminal past, along with his family. His family shares a long criminal past with him. So, and then there was the abuse that he inflicted upon Tabby. He had started out at first, I guess it was mainly shoving, slapping, kicking, punching, that sort of thing. And she would either not come around us, or she would hide behind sunglasses or something of that nature. A couple of times she would call me from their home on Muggle Loop Road, and she would say, "Please call the police. He's about to kill me." And I would call the police, and by the time the police would come there, either he or she would get rid of them. So there were never reports made at that time. One particular time, he took her to Flint, Michigan to be with some family up there, and he beat her so severely and choked her out that she defecated and urinated on herself. When she awoke from being passed out, there were a couple other people there, and she heard the sound of a shovel hitting the cold ground. So at that time, she begged for her life and stole his car, and somehow she talked him out of killing her, and stole his car and brought it back to Alabama, parked it in the Cullman impound parking lot here at the Cullman Police Department, and went to make a report. They said because the incident was attempted murder and happened in another state, she would have to file charges in that state. So she settled for a restraining order, in which he called her a month later and described to her what her daughter was wearing, and said if she did not drop the restraining order, her daughter would be next. So, as any mother would, for fear of her child's life, she did drop the restraining order.
Now, was he the father, or?
No. Okay. No. No, these children belong to another man. He does have a child, and he recently had another child with another woman in Illinois. So he has.
You know, it's remarkable that this person, after he was interviewed by the police, what did they tell you at that point?
They told me there's nothing that they can do at this time, because they told me exactly that their hands were tied, that he got a lawyer, so their hands were tied. That's when I was like, oh, no. That's why I started private investigating or snooping or whatever you want to call it, and found out, oh, well, this is when he went to jail. Here he's in jail now. This is a good time for you to, look into the car. That's when I started following and finding out things about him.
And do you know how long they interviewed him for?
It was a phone conversation over the phone, and I do not know how long it was, but it wasn't long enough to bring him into the station, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So it was just a phone conversation. He called, or Frost called him and asked him about Tabitha, or either he called in, I don't remember, and he just said, I picked her up from Keith Floyd's house, and I took her to my place of business, dropped her off, went and done some errands. Now, she, this would have been real late at night. I don't know how many people run errands that late at night, but apparently this was his statement that he had done, precisely that. When he came back, supposedly she was gone. So, and then it takes 3 months for the place to get searched. That he's going to drop her off at this place she disappeared at, and then you're going to wait 3 months to search the place?
That's why do you think that the police department apparently didn't do their diligence in this case? What was it about? Because, we alluded to this before, that this seems to be a common theme, David, when we have families on this program. It's usually they're very frustrated with the lack of cooperation on the part of the police department, and that definitely seems to be the case here. Why do you think it is that the police department just hasn't done their diligence in this case?
I feel that, at first when they were telling me that they couldn't search the building, it was a jurisdiction issue. But I feel a lot that it may have something to do with Tabitha's last name being White. Here in Cullman, her family is not one of, an upstanding family that the police look good upon. They've got their troubles and issues as well. So, I feel like it may be that may be a part of it. The fact that she was a drug addict may be a part of it. Mm-hmm. She wasn't a preacher's daughter. She wasn't a police daughter. So I don't think that they've done the work that they should because of the lifestyle she led, and her family was a poor family that had run-ins with the law. So that's mine.
Yeah. So in other words, they in their mind they probably wrote her off as this, that, and the other thing.
A run-off mother, drug addict. Yeah, I think that they wrote her off. I think they did not do the research, and if they would have done that, they would have known she's the type of mother that even if she, with her drug addiction, she was there for her children all the time. She called her children, all the time. Matter of fact, the weekend before she went missing, the weekend after she went missing, she was supposed to be picking up her children. And that was something Tabitha would have not missed out on. She would have been picking her children up so that she would have been able to have her time with them. So, it should have been, that should have been a red flag of foul play at that point, Tabitha was not listed as an endangered adult until after we started finding clothes out of the lake. She was just listed as missing. She wasn't listed as endangered, and she should have been.
Yes, because of the abuse.
Yes, sir.
Yes, exactly. Go ahead, Bob, if you have any more questions.
Yeah, and so you have a private investigator. Is the private investigator still working on this case?
We had a private investigator at the beginning of the case. Mm-hmm. Since then, he's had some other things going on in his life, a new baby and everything. So he hasn't really been able to, and he's got other cases as well. And right. He was working for pro bono. We did some fundraisers to try to get a little bit of money, but we weren't able to. Reimburse them for all the scuba diving equipment and things that they put into this. So he hasn't really done that much work on her case in probably a year and a half or so. But at this time, I do have another man who has been trying to help me getting some information to me via the internet. So, and I'm not sure how that's going to go, but he's been very diligent on trying to help me. So.
Yeah, and that oftentimes we see families that turn to private investigators, as the case with the Stanberry family, David, and other families, because the police departments oftentimes they have a lot of cases, and they may consider it a cold case, and therefore, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they ever put the resources into this case, which is very troubling in a sense, in all senses, really.
Yeah.
And what's happening with her children at this point?
Her children are there with their dad. He takes good care of them, and we try as a family. We try to keep their spirits up, keep them being children. We do vigils and things like that to kind of keep their mom in the hearts of everyone here in Cullman. And sometimes it's hard for the children to look at the videos, and I had to take them off of her page because they would see that picture of her with the black eyes, and it hurts them. So we felt like it would be best to just go ahead and take them off of there, and then they've created their own page called it's called Missing Tabitha Franklin. that way they can express their feelings and how what they're going through as growing up without a mom. So we try to encourage them to express their feelings as best as they can, and it's so hard. You're not given a handbook on how to do this, so it's really hard.
Yes, I bet it is. And I mean, you do have. She does have 3 wonderful children, and I mean, just it was 2 years ago when they did that birthday video for her.
Yes, sir. We do. Her daughter loves to sing, and Tabitha used to love to hear her daughter sing. So I encourage them to, do things artistically, whether it be writing things, drawing things, writing letters, singing songs, things of that nature that makes them feel better, or gives them a little bit of self, like they're doing something themselves in order to help. Tabitha's daughter likes to reach out to other children that have missing parents so that they can kind of talk and compare their lives and things like that. So.
Okay. And then can you, for people there that's listening in the archives and on the Podmatic and iTunes and stuff, what is actually, if you could tell them what the Facebook page is for Tabitha and the videos and the information on the case that they can actually look at, and what is that?
Okay, well, I have a Facebook page called Looking for Tabby, and it's spelled capital LOOKINFOR and then space capital TABBY. Also, if you Google Tabitha Franklin, there's a lot of information on there that where we've contacted the news, or we've held events, or stories have been written about Tabitha, or there have been other blog shows about Tabitha. So we try to, keep her name out that way. So there is a lot of information you can find on Google as well as looking for Tabby.
Okay. Now, if are you still looking for other private investigators to do pro bono? Because I know I contacted you, gave you the number of one person that would be willing to do pro bono work.
I have never refused anybody's help that wants to help look for Tabitha, because the more people looking for Tabitha, the better chances we have of finding her. Yep. So, to me, the more people that want to help her, maybe, someone has an idea that hasn't been resolved yet. Maybe someone has search teams that can come out here and do these searches that need to be done underwater. Maybe somebody has access to equipment that we need. So anybody that's willing to help look for Tabitha, I'm not going to turn away. That's just something.
Yes.
I would feel foolish of doing, and I would suggest any family that is missing a loved one. If someone's going to offer that help, take it. You need it. The families need that help. They're not going to get it from most law enforcement. So you've got to do what you've got to do to bring your loved one home.
Yes. And just also to put out there, too, is there are several places that you can go when you have someone that's involved with domestic abuse and has gone missing, and that's the DOE Network. You also have Help Find the Missing, and that's at that's helpthefindthemissing.org, the missing database. And then you have NAMUS, and you also have the Community United Effort, which I'm looking at right now, and that's the North Carolina MissingPersons.org. That is I believe it's the Q Center, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So a lot of resources there, and people that do help with the searches. Now, there was one question that I did have, and excuse me for a minute. And I know that we had talked about this, and there was something that I had posted on Twitter back about a few weeks ago to actually for people to call in to the Cullman Sheriff's Department to keep. If someone was to do that, like say for example, if I or other people were to keep calling the Cullman Sheriff's Department, do you think it would help in trying to get them to actually get together a team to go search, or just to really start getting this case solved?
I feel like if the more people that call in and the more people that ask about Tabitha's case, it would show the police that maybe that there are more people out there that care about Tabitha and care about her children, and that she does matter. So I feel like that is helpful. I think that it's the ones that don't receive the calls. It's the families that aren't able to do anything because they don't know how. That where the cases go unsolved for so many years. You've got to reach out to the public. You've got to reach out to everybody and be like, look at this woman. Look at her with her children. Look how she is with her children. Look at the love that's there. And, imagine if that was your mother or your sister or your daughter. Imagine if it was someone that you cared about. It can happen to anyone. There are so many women that are involved or have been involved in domestic violent relationships. It could have happened to any of them. There's a lot of women that have been, on the wrong path and grown up around drug addiction and become drug addicts. But, it could happen to them. Just because you're on a wrong path doesn't mean that, that there isn't something that somebody may not help you, if you're given the chance. Tabitha was not given that chance. I don't believe she's still with us. Our whole family is, you want to hold on to hope, but unfortunately we weren't given that option. We were never given the option of even thinking that for a minute that she may still be alive.
Yeah. There was also one person that you believe that has some information who just recently was arrested, and who Jeremy Bova?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Was he ever questioned?
Yes, sir. Jeremy Bova is one of Chris's cousins, and he had told another cousin of Chris and his that and I've got the statement on Looking for Tabby's page where I had spoken to the girl in a private message, and she had told me that Chris had cut off a tattoo of Tabitha's and put her in some caves here between the place where she was picked up at and between his house. I told the police when Jeremy Bova was arrested, I was like, look, he's arrested. Please go down there and have a talk with him and see what you can do. They said he didn't break, but they felt like there was something that that there was something there, and but they couldn't get him to crack. So they left their information with him, and he's got to sit there and I guess serve some time. I don't know if that's going to change his outlook on giving the information or not.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's hope that through the power of prayer, that it will be on his heart to actually break and say something.
Yes, sir. That's what I also do. I try to reach out to a person, to their moral standards. To, if it was their family member, wouldn't you want to know? I mean, like I said, I've had people pass away before, and we have grave spots. We can go and visit them on holidays or their birthdays, or and go have a place to go talk to them. These children have nothing. They don't even have the absolution in their mind that their mother has passed away because they have no answers, nothing. So, I know how it is for us as adults. I can't even imagine what these children are going through.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah. And it's got to be painful for them. I know.
But you know what? I think, David, you brought up a good point, and how if there is enough pressure calling the Cullman Police Department, and there are other outlets out there willing to shed some light on this case, and that may put pressure on the authorities to really properly do investigation, really investigate this case. And that's sometimes a huge challenge for families as well, because, as we said, the media sometimes is only interested in covering current events, and certainly the longer that this takes place, the more difficult it is going to be for the family, because this happened some time ago, and so that it just makes it that much more difficult. But we take it as almost a public service. We have some sort of a duty to try to raise awareness on cases like this, and try to get the word out, because so often traditional media will be reluctant to cover stories like this, and so it is almost incumbent upon us to do something about this and try to get the ball rolling, so to speak.
Yes.
They're one of my angels. He's one of the angels.
Yes. Well, hey, that's God's put it in my heart to do this for the missing, and coming on Bob's show and sharing the cases and for these families, because it just takes, it could be anything that we talk about. It shows for the families that we are actually there to help support them, and that's what they need, is support too from people too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, even if it just amounts just coming on a show and just telling, completely your side of the story, unabated, not constrained with, time limits or anything like that. And so, we could certainly help out in that regard. And this show, it's not going out to, it's reaching a lot of people, but obviously we can't compete with the major media markets. But in the day of the internet, something like this could spiral. It's great that we see missing families congregating on Facebook and sharing links and all that stuff, because that stuff now could be passed on to thousands, if not millions, of people. I'm curious, have you ever set up a YouTube page or have any type of YouTube videos available describing this case?
No, sir. I haven't even thought about that.
Yeah, that could be something that you may be interested in the future. David, I don't know if you've ever. I know, David, you stick generally to, MP3 recordings and whatnot, but is that something, David, that you've given a thought to putting?
Oh, yes.
YouTube videos?
Yep, I do have a YouTube channel, as a matter of fact. Just a few weeks ago, I think it was a few days before Thanksgiving, I actually did on Tabitha Franklin and on Spreaker. And it was an interview that was done with the Missing and the Miss from Kinsley Brunn, the one who actually got me started up with my website and paid for the domain for the whole year. So, yes, they can actually go to that, and that is actually on, it's youtube.com and ndsman64. And I'm going to be actually changing that, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be having a YouTube channel for Speak Your Mind Radio, and all of the cases that, we do in the updates, and because I do go on occasionally, and do any updates that are done, that I see on Facebook or whatnot and hear about, and that will be uploaded to that YouTube channel. But for the time being, it's my personal YouTube channel, which is NDSman64, so they can actually listen to that interview from back in 2011. Correct, Stacy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, with Kinsley, and any of the other cases here that we have. I mean, there's also Selena Cass, who, as a matter of fact, just not too far from me, about 45 minutes away from where I'm at, came up missing in Stewartstown back in 2011. Her body was found in the Connecticut River, and still to this day, there has been nobody arrested in this case. And the mother is still. I mean, even though the Assistant Attorney General, she's still, they're still working on this case, but nothing has come up. No new leads, no nothing. And that's one of the other ones. As a matter of fact, there's one that's just went missing in October 23rd, October 9th. Abigail Hernandez. And as a matter of fact, November 6th, they just released, they had a press conference. When she went missing on the 9th, the mother had received a letter November 6th. This letter was written on the 22nd of October and sent out on the 23rd. But she did not get it until 13 days later. They didn't release as to why, what was in the letter, where it was mailed from, or as to why it took 13 days for her to receive that letter. But as soon as she received that letter, she turned it into the authorities, which was on the 6th. And she's a 15-year-old teenager, and she's at grave danger because this, like you say, they don't know if she's, if she went on her own and coerced or what. And, like we're going to be talking about this next case that's coming up with Phoenix Coding, some of the similarities with how these two people went missing, even though they prefer not to associate their daughter with Stacy English, because they do believe that she is alive. And I do myself believe that she's alive. But in some cases, the way this kidnapping went, I mean, her gone missing could be, it looks like some cases of human trafficking or drug trade, being taken by that.
Well, it's great, David, to see that you're doing this, and we all have to continue. Anything that you either of you want to say in closing as we approach the top of the hour here?
I would just like to say, if anyone has any tips and they're afraid to and let anyone know about them. I mean, I don't care if you have to write it on a bathroom mirror at a public restroom. Just, let us know where she's at. Let us know, give us some peace, give us some closure. Families need that. And, when I find Tabitha, which I don't have a doubt in my mind that I'm determined enough to find Tabitha, that I'm going to help other families of the missing and other women with domestic violence, because I think that's what Tabitha would want.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Now, there is a phone number for people that can call in anonymously with any tips. Again, that number is again?
It's area code 205-254-7777. And you can call in with an anonymous tip. They'll give you a code. If your tip leads to Tabitha being found, they will use that code to track the whatever the call or whatever. You do not have to come in for a witness or anything, and you will still be eligible to receive the reward money.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming on the show, Stacy. I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank y'all so very much.
You are welcome. And
anytime.
Like I say, my thoughts and my prayers will be with you every single day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Stacy.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, that was absolutely heartbreaking, but inspiring at the same time, David.
Yes.
It's frustrating to hear the details of these cases, because there's so much overlap in terms of the investigation and the struggles and so on and so forth that these families have to go through in order to get these instances properly investigated. But it's good that we can provide some sort of solace at the very least to individuals that have family members that are missing and whatnot.
Yes.
All right, so now we're going to take a brief time out.
Hey everybody, this is the webmaster of Speak Your Mind Radio and host of the Missing and Abducted radio show on YouTube and Facebook. Justin Harvey has always been a great friend to me, a longtime supporter and advocate for the missing and abducted, who works very hard with raising awareness and continues to inspire many people as he has overcome this cerebral palsy by hosting this show, writing a book, training under the legendary Grand Master Frank Dukes, and becoming West Virginia's first ever undefeated pro wrestling champion. The Justin Harvey Show is endorsed by some of the biggest names in the world of martial arts and entertainment, like Frank Dukes, inspiration for the movie Bloodsport, and Kumite champion Muhammad Kisi, actor who played Tong Po in the movie Kickboxer, and Tony Luke Jr., actor, entrepreneur, and martial artist. So I urge you to follow and subscribe to the hottest internationally known podcast around the world by going to facebook.com, The Justin Harvey Show, where you can like his Facebook page, receive a free copy of My CP Prison, written by Justin himself, for liking the page, and as an added bonus, when you subscribe to his YouTube channel, you will receive Justin's cover version of Fight to Survive from Bloodsport's original version of Fight to Survive by Paul Herzog.
We of the Kokurukai salute you.
Hi, my name is Frank Dukes. Some of you might recognize my name from the movie Bloodsport. Jean-Claude Van Damme portrays me in the movie. Well, I want to introduce you to a real champ, a real kumite fighter in his own right, Justin Ray Harvey. Enjoy the show. You won't be disappointed.
All background music for The Missing and Abducted and Speak Your Mind Radio has been provided by me, Justin Ray Harvey of The Justin Harvey Show. Be sure to tune in on YouTube at Frank Dukes Fan for my official channel for shows and updates. See you there. Keep on rockin', David Levitt.
This webcaster uses Radio Amber, the Internet Radio Amber Alert System, helping to keep your children safe. A public service from the Internet broadcasting community and this station.
Hi, this is your host from SYM Radio with a public service announcement. We have an endangered missing senior citizen alert. He is a 79-year-old Cleveland, Ohio man who has been missing since December 7th, 2006. He was 73 at the time of his disappearance, and his family is asking to help find him. Willie Chuck Stanberry was last seen at two locations on Thursday, December 7th, 2006, at approximately 7:15 p.m., near the intersection of East 89th Street and Grand Avenue, where he owns property, and then at the Shell gas station where he got gas on East 123rd in St. Clair at approximately 7:45 p.m. He was driving a 2001 Hunter Green Ford Focus with Ohio license plate EAU 8688. When he went missing, he owned 3 houses, was a gospel musician, had a girlfriend, and talked to his grandchildren every day. He has not been seen or heard from since the evening of his disappearance. His race is black, with black balding hair, brown eyes, 6 feet 2 inches tall, and weighs 210 pounds. Wears glasses and walks with a limp in his right leg. He was last seen wearing a baseball cap, beige jogging suit, and suede jacket. If you believe you have any information regarding this case that will be helpful in this investigation, please contact the 24-hour confidential information line at 216-367-9035. For more information on this case also, you can visit their Facebook page at Missing Willie C. Stanberry Sr. And for other information on all other cases, please visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/missing-and-abducted. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by SYM Radio, J-Ray Radio, a public service for the surrounding communities and the Internet broadcasting community. The family volunteers and in collaboration with Speak Your Mind Radio, The Justin Harvey Show, and the Missing and Abducted Radio Show has created this public service announcement related to Christina Kleckner, who has been missing since October 1st of 2011 from Cleveland, Ohio. Christina Kleckner has medical issues, is mentally challenged, and may fluctuate from seemingly age-appropriate behaviors to childlike behaviors. She is considered vulnerable and in need of her medications. Christina also has suicidal tendencies. When Christina took adventures out, she was always accompanied by the family or caregiver. The parents reported Christina missing on Sunday, October 2nd, 2011, after last seeing her at 8 p.m. the night before when an argument had occurred. When Christina's father went to her room the next morning to check on her, he had found Christina wasn't in her room and her PJs were in the middle of her floor. In the morning also, the back door was found to be unlocked. The family says she has ran away in the past but has always come home. Christina has a scar from a dog bite on her left ankle. The clothing that was missing from Christina's room is her black boots, black vinyl jacket, bling jeans, a blue jean skirt, a blue jean purse with a pic of Tinkerbell. Christina Kleckner was 24 years old at the time of her disappearance and is now 26 and will be 27 on May 27th of this year. She has brown hair, blue eyes, weighs between 180 to 200 pounds, and is 5 feet 5 inches tall. Anyone who has seen or has any information on Christina's disappearance is asked to call the Cleveland, Ohio 2nd District Detectives at 216-623-5262 or 216-623-5218. If you are afraid to call, please send me or help find Christina Kleckner's group admin an inbox